What the hell is this? This is not what I ordered.
People say they're being duped by ads circulating on social media.
I really felt foolish.
What's turning up at shoppers' doors and everything you need to know to stay scam-free.
Then hear from a Utah family who gathered together this Thanksgiving despite expert advice and statewide restrictions.
People die, and it's sad. But it's not, we can't stop it.
Why they say they made the decision to celebrate together.
Boy, oh boy, it was a chilly Thanksgiving, but things are warming up. Sunshine and also some valley inversions this weekend. We have all you need to know. That's coming up next.
And how the promise of a COVID-19 vaccine could impact Utah's economy. And what two things need to happen for us to bounce back.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Thanksgiving night. Hope you had a great day. I'm Kelly Chapman.
And I'm Bob Evans. As Utah and the nation prepares to rebound from COVID-19, we are closer to having a vaccine approved and distributed across the United States.
Fox 13's Sydney Glenn spoke with an economics professor about how the hope of a vaccine could help our Utah economy.
Economics professor Peter Phillips says hope is always a good thing for the economy, but he says the promise of a COVID-19 vaccine still has a lot of question marks surrounding it. He says for us to really bounce back, there are two things that need to happen. Melly Miles spends her day surrounded by gourmet burgers and customers, just not as many these days.
I remember exactly before the shutdown in March, the week before, we were completely packed, and my manager actually called me. It's like, hey, I need help because we were too busy. So I ran down here, and then a week later, it was like all empty.
As COVID-19 cases continue to skyrocket in Utah, Miles says less people are going out.
Decrease like from 40% to 50%.
There is some good news on the horizon as it appears a COVID-19 vaccine could be coming soon. Economics professor Peter Phillips says there are still a lot of speed bumps ahead.
Is it both safe and effective? How quickly and well will it be distributed? And how popular is it, and will people adopt it? Will they take the vaccine?
Before we will see a true impact, Phillips says people will need to feel confident.
When people start feeling that being out in the world is not threatening their health, that's when the economy will start seeing the effect.
The vaccine is just one part of getting the economy back on track, Phillips says.
We also need further government stimulus to give this bounce back more energy until it gets to the point where it's a self-sustaining recovery.
Miles just hopes the vaccine comes soon as she works to have her own restaurant sales bounce back.
I'm very hopeful that people are feeling safe again to come out and, support the local businesses like ours.
Utah leaders anticipate a COVID-19 vaccine being available to all Utahns by July. Some high-risk groups will receive a vaccine sooner than that. In downtown Salt Lake City, Sydney Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Today, Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall put out a message of Thanksgiving, offering gratitude for healthcare workers and residents doing their part to fight COVID-19.
First and foremost, I am so appreciative of the amazing healthcare workers and first responders who perform their critical jobs that only they can, day in and day out. They're doing so in the face of incredibly challenging and growing circumstances, and we owe them our gratitude for their continued efforts. I'm also thinking of the scientists who have been working nonstop to deliver a vaccine, the prospect of which gives many of us great hope. I'm also grateful for every Salt Laker who is making personal sacrifices today by sticking to their own households. It's difficult to forego those in-person, loving interactions with extended family and friends, especially this year when we could all use a hug. But it's so worth it to eliminate the risk of family spread and a potential tragedy. Thank you for being flexible and responding in this responsible way.
Now, the health department did not issue new COVID-19 numbers today because of the holiday, but yesterday there were 1,700 new cases and 26 new deaths. Most COVID-19 test sites were closed today. They will be back open tomorrow, but some will run on a reduced schedule over the holiday weekend.
Bob, despite the mayor's message and stern warnings from public health officials, many Utahns celebrated Thanksgiving without COVID-19 concerns.
Fox 13's Haley Higgins spoke to one family about their decision.
As wild turkeys gathered outside the Warburtons' home in rural Weber County, 6 adults and 4 children celebrated Thanksgiving inside.
We had our Thanksgiving with our family.
Nothing is more important to Laura Warburton than family, especially after losing her 16-year-old daughter Hannah to suicide.
What would you do if it was the last 24 hours of your life? So what would you do? I'd want to be with my grandkids. I'd want to be with my family. I'd want to be laughing and playing and hugging and talking and being together.
The Warburton family resisted calls from public health officials, warning that Thanksgiving gatherings with people you don't live with could dramatically increase COVID-19 infections.
We are very concerned what's going to happen after Thanksgiving as we go into December, and then December goes into Christmas in terms of what's going to happen in terms of our case counts, because our hospitals can't accommodate many more patients in the ICU.
In Utah, 834 people died from COVID-19. Yet Warburton focuses on the overall death rate at 0.05%. While she sympathizes with overworked and overwhelmed healthcare workers, she says her priority is living in the moment with her family, especially on Thanksgiving.
We have to be careful. We have to be respectful of what's happening in the hospitals, but we also have to live.
In Weber County, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
A national poll found 1 in 3 parents plan to celebrate Thanksgiving with extended family today.
Let's turn to weather now. Some parts of Utah saw flurries of snow today. It certainly was pretty. This is a time lapse. So cool to see from our Oquirrh Mountain camera. Of course, those higher elevations, of course, getting more snow. Danny Ruberti is in the Fox 13 Weather Center today. Typically, Danny, you're forecasting morning temperatures and what the day will be like. Got you backwards to have you here tonight. So glad you're here.
I'm so grateful to be here, too. I wouldn't want to spend my Thanksgiving with anyone else.
Oh, that is
wish my parents
sweet
could
of
be here,
you.
too. But yeah, a little bit different, and it's actually going to be getting really cold tonight. It was already cold this afternoon. You saw that time lapse from our Oquirrh camera, and now you're looking. Some people had this view today from Timpanogos Park. Thank you, Brian Morris, for sending in this shot for us. Some folks saw blue skies and sunshine peeking through, and now we're starting to see that storm push its way out. And so as we're going into tonight, skies are clearing. You're seeing clear skies, cold air that's settled in after that cold front moved through. A few lingering flurries in our southern mountains, but overall, I mean, this system did pretty much what we thought it was going to do. Our higher elevations, our northern Wasatch Mountains, saw a little bit more snow. So Snowbird got 6 inches, Alta 5 inches, Park City a couple inches of fresh powder, and then Salt Lake City, our airport, got 3/10 of an inch, Bountiful 1/2 of an inch of snow. So not a big system, but it did give us a little something to work with, and then we're seeing the cold temperatures. So going into tonight, this is feeling even colder than it shows. 30 degrees in Salt Lake City. It's feeling about 8 degrees colder than that. 28 in Ogden, 29 in Provo, and it's cold all across the state. 23 in Delta. St. George, you're at 42, 32 in Wendover. So getting out tonight after Thanksgiving festivities, you're going to want to make sure you grab the jacket. And for my Black Friday shoppers tomorrow, if you are getting out really early, we've got cold overnight lows. You're getting out the door at 8 o'clock to 23 degrees. Few clouds out there, but you're seeing nothing but sunshine throughout the afternoon. It's going to feel very similar to what today felt like. We'll be in the upper 30s in the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, though. Clear skies, but we're also going to start to see a little more haze. We'll be taking a look at your air quality and also that next storm system that could be moving in. That's all coming up here in just a couple minutes.
Coming up on Fox 13 News at 9.
Skiers and riders are thankful for the snow this Thanksgiving holiday. I'm Brian Schnee with what resorts are hopeful for this year. Coming up.
Stein Eriksen Lodge here in Park City is spreading some holiday cheer. On Fox 13, Spencer Joseph will tell you what they're doing for Thanksgiving for those on Hill Air Force Base. Coming up.
Thanksgiving means NFL football. Also a busy day in college sports with college football and college basketball. I'll have all the highlights.
Tonight, a warning as we officially head into Black Friday deals and the holiday season. Be careful what you buy off of social media. The ads you see while scrolling on your phone or iPad may not be what they seem.
Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher spoke to people around the world who have been duped and has some advice for the Better Business Bureau here in Utah.
It's hard not to come across these ads while scrolling Facebook. But what people are seeing on their phones is not what they're getting in the mail.
For Susan Stanky, the ad showed a beautiful sea glass mini Christmas tree.
I go all out for decorating for Christmas.
Buy 2 for $40, it said, and get free shipping.
So I ordered them and I figured, wow, what a good deal.
Debbie Knuckles figured the same thing. For a kid-sized dino, the perfect Christmas gift for her twin grandsons.
It showed the little boy bouncing on it.
$59.99 from a website that looked legit enough until...
When it came in the mail, what was your first thought?
Well, I laughed at first. I kept saying, this can't be it.
What the hell is this? This is not what I ordered.
Here is what they received instead. Clear plastic trees and a toy dinosaur. Nothing like the advertisement, and if you ask them, yeah, that's just a little overpriced at $40 and $60.
The risk of online purchase scams rises during the holidays.
The Better Business Bureau in Utah says they take in tons of complaints every year. But the ads you see on social media often come from overseas companies that don't offer full refunds.
And so there's not much you can do because they're not reputable companies with a working customer service line.
They urge, take your time and do your research before making a purchase.
So when you pull up the website, you want to make sure that it's secure. So you want to look for the HTTPS in the URL. You want to do your research and look at other companies who are selling the same thing. You want to compare prices and reviews.
If everything checks out when you're ready to pay,
pay with a credit card because your bank will help you get the money back most of the time.
There's my sea glass Christmas tree.
Susan and Debbie are now each disputing the charges with PayPal and the bank respectively.
I'm hoping that I'll get my money back from PayPal. I mean, otherwise it's a little bit of an expensive lesson.
A lesson learned. What seems fun and festive on social media may be a complete holiday fail in your home.
If it sounds too good to be true, it really is.
Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Wow, shoppers beware.
Yeah. Well, Salt Lake County Animal Services made sure sheltered animals got to celebrate Thanksgiving today.
I think they liked it. Volunteers provided special turkey dinners for more than 80 animals there at the shelter. Now, if you want to give your furry family members any of your leftovers tonight, be sure to leave some of the fixings out of their dishes for good reason. Salt Lake County Animal Services says that you should avoid giving them turkey bones. That's a choking hazard. Also mashed potatoes, too much salt and sugar there, and butter, stuffing, grapes, chocolate desserts, or ham.
All the best parts of Thanksgiving. Well, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints teamed up with Black 14 Philanthropy on this day of thanks. Black 14 is a humanitarian group with the mission of helping underserved communities. It's named for the black athletes who chose to sit out a University of Wyoming BYU football game in 1969 to protest the church's then ban on African Americans holding the priesthood. The church changed that policy in 1978. Today, the two organizations together delivered more than 180 tons of food to 9 cities before Thanksgiving.
It was very impressive, the organization, and I had no idea that they did all the things that you do, especially in way of feeding people.
This partnership with Black 14 comes a month after Church President Russell M. Nelson called on Latter-day Saints everywhere to, quote, lead out in abandoning attitudes and actions of prejudice and to promote respect for all of God's children.
More good work here. The Salvation Army continued their tradition of feeding the hungry for the holiday. The group is cooking. They prepared, also delivered 800 meals to people in need all around the Salt Lake City area. This is something they do every year, but they say they could not do it without their 130-plus volunteers who came out to help.
We need all we can. It's been a really wild year, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon, but thank you very much to the community for helping us so much.
Yeah, the help is definitely needed. This now marks the kickoff to the Salvation Army's Season of Giving they do through the Angel Tree program. If you'd like to help them out, if you can, we do have a link to that program over at fox13now.com.
Skiers and boarders were grateful to have plenty of snow on this Thanksgiving holiday.
So pretty, right? Makes it look so festive.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the resorts themselves as well, very thankful to have the lifts once again spinning after the pandemic forced virtually the entire ski season to shut down early last season. Fox 13's Brian Schnee checked in with skiers at Brayton today.
A measure of a successful season for us this year is going to be to open and stay open.
That's the goal for Utah's ski resorts after the pandemic forced the lifts to stop running with weeks left in the season. Fast forward 3 seasons, and roughly a handful of resorts are open for business this Thanksgiving holiday. Nice. COVID-19 has changed the landscape. Where some resorts would serve Thanksgiving meals and have annual events, they're just not happening.
I think a lot of people are kind of worried about it. They're uncertain, are we going to be able to stay open?
First to open back up was Brighton Resort about a week ago.
Just kind of slowly, learning to walk this year instead of just running as hard as we can.
Not going as big this Thanksgiving with meals and events, but snowmakers are still functioning, lodges are open, and the greatest snow on earth awaits. So what are Utah's ski resorts thankful for this Thanksgiving season?
We're very fortunate to be open pretty regularly by Thanksgiving. So we are thankful that we're up and operating.
One, the snow, a great preseason snow. 2, health, the majority of our staff has all been healthy. We have a great crew. We've gone through the summer with no major accidents. And so we're just hoping that we can stay healthy, keep our staff healthy, and keep our guests healthy.
Along with staying open, that's the #1 priority this season. It's keeping skiers, riders, and staff safe. For some skiers and riders, it comes as second nature. That would be wearing a face mask. But some of the resorts I've spoken to over the last week say they've actually had a little bit of difficulty with compliance, and they need people to wear masks and lift lines on the lifts and also when they head into the lodge. At Brighton Resort, Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Danny Roberti, we've got to get you up on the slopes here in Utah. It'll be your first time skiing on the greatest snow on earth.
I know, and I've heard a lot of great things about it, so I'm expecting big things.
Well, you should.
And
we were just talking about
out
that.
there too.
I know. Well, Danny, you and I will be starting on the bunny hills, but that's okay. You got to start someplace, right?
You got to start someplace, and then we're going to be out there. We're going to be experts before you know it. But I'm really looking forward to being able to get out there on the slopes. And we got a little bit of snow from our last system, the last night going into this morning. Not nearly enough, but that's starting to push out. Saw 5 inches in Alta, a couple inches in Park City. And as that pushes out, we are left with really cold air going into our Black Friday tomorrow. But our weekend's going to be looking a little bit better. So let's get a look at outside right now, what you can expect going into your evening. 30 degrees. Keep in mind, 30 ain't feeling like 30. That's feeling more like 22 degrees. And that's because of that wind coming from the northwest, 9 miles per hour. Right now, visibility is good, but you might be waking up to a little bit of fog going into tomorrow. Low 30s, upper 20s along the Wasatch Front, 28 in Ogden, 27 in Tooele. And as we zoom things out, 22 degrees in Vernal, 23 in Milford, 42 degrees in St. George and Ely. You're in the low 20s right now. So what we can expect going into tonight, cold front pushing out of Utah. So those snow showers have diminished. We had a few flurries lingering today and early this evening, but now we have high pressure that's going to start building back in. We are cold tonight. We are clear, but high pressure is going to help warm us up to temperatures that are a little bit normal for us as we go into our weekend. But as we wake up tomorrow morning, not only do we have some some patchy snow on the ground in some areas, but fog is developing, and you could see some thick fog in Cache Valley and also along the Wasatch Back. Tomorrow, chilly, brisk, and sunny. If you're going to be out shopping, I know a lot of us are probably going to be doing online shopping, but it is going to be cold. Grab the jacket, and then this weekend, it's going to feel a little more seasonal, but we do have some valley inversions that are developing this weekend, and so what we are forecasting moderate air quality levels going into our Friday, Saturday, and our Sunday. We have a system that's approaching Sunday night into Monday that's not going to do enough to break this up, so it might be a little hazy tomorrow and into your weekend, even though we do have lots of pretty sunshine that's going to try to break through. 24 degrees tonight, clear, cool, fog developing. It's just going to be very chilly getting out the door early tomorrow morning. Low 20s along the Wasatch Front. St. George, 28 degrees. I mean, Ely, you're in the single digits as you're waking up tomorrow morning, and your afternoon is going to feel very similar to today. Upper 30s, we are below average, sunny, brisk, and everyone is going to be in that range, feeling like today. Low 40s in Provo, 52 in St. George, 39 in Ely, Evanston, low 30s. But the big change today is just real clear skies, or going into tomorrow, clear skies. Southern Utah, you'll be warming up into your weekend. Low 50s tomorrow, back into the mid 50s. Saturday, low 60s to start off your new work week, and then you'll start to cool just a little bit by the time we get to mid work week. And along the Wasatch Front, temperatures are warming up seasonal Saturday, Sunday. We see another system that's going to be brisking by Monday into Tuesday, and if we do see any snow, it's not going to be much. Our northern mountains, if anything, and then you'll be cooling a little bit, low 40s by the middle of next week.
Sounds good, Danny. I just got a viewer tip. We're told to get really good goggles before we go up on the bunny hill. So, all right. I'll look for those.
Intense, Kelly.
Still to come, they are some of the most unsung heroes of this pandemic. We're talking about caregivers. We're going to show you how to ensure that the caregivers you know get the help they need so they can help others.
On this day when we give thanks, we need to remember the caregivers in our lives.
So important. We all know people like this, those who often go unrecognized for their selfless service and seldom get the care they need for themselves. Fox 13's Amy Nay explains in this week's Healthier Together.
Caregiving has exploded.
Dr. Drew Oliveira from Regions Blue Cross Blue Shield of Utah says caregivers, typically unpaid, caring for someone with a chronic illness or disability in the home is something that we're seeing more of now with coronavirus.
Before the pandemic, 1 in 5 adults were providing some caregiving activities within their homes. That's 50 million people.
And that number has now only gone up.
Either within their home, with children, with neighbors, with extended family.
And according to a Blue Cross Blue Shield Association report, the health of caregivers is at risk.
Caregivers themselves are shown to have poorer health than the average population.
26% lower than that of their peers.
Well, the pandemic has put a stress on all of us. Depression is up 3 times from the pre-pandemic areas, and in caregivers, that is even worse.
And often many turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Smoking tobacco is up 14%. Use of medications up 18%. And overeating is up 50%. So those types of things that may make you feel better are not great adaptive mechanisms if you are a caregiver.
He says there are resources like Archangels that can help and advises prioritizing self-care.
Find ways to get a break. You need a break if you're caregiving. You need to take time for yourself.
And stay connected.
Whether that's through social media, Zoom calls.
Or making sure to take time for a walk and taking care of your own health and well-being, allowing you to continue taking care of those you love. For Healthier Together, Amy Nay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Coming up after the break.
Good news may be on the horizon for Utah's economy.
Even if the food is not 100% good, it will reach a lot of people.
But it's been a difficult road. Hear from one business owner who opened in the middle of the pandemic and how he's keeping the doors open.
A Utah tradition that helps families of those deployed overseas has found a way to continue during COVID-19. We'll show you how.
The Utah State football team going after their first win of the season. Also college basketball on Thanksgiving with the Cougars, Aggies, and Wolverines.
New tonight, President Trump announced to reporters today he will leave the White House if the Electoral College votes for President-elect Joe Biden on December 14th. That is the first time President Trump has said that.
Well, it certainly adds to what is an unforgettable Thanksgiving Day in 2020. Karen Kaifa has more.
Macy's still put on a Thanksgiving morning show in New York without the crowds. The parade, just one long-standing tradition, altered this pandemic year. It is a very different Thanksgiving for many families, including, the president-elect said via Twitter Thursday, the Biden family.
I know this isn't the way many of us hoped we'd spend our holiday. We know that a small act of staying home is a gift to our fellow Americans.
But millions of other Americans not willing to alter plans. The TSA said more than 1 million passengers passed through airport checkpoints on Thanksgiving Eve, bucking a warning from the CDC last week that Americans should stay home for the holiday. The rest of the world is watching the situation here anxiously.
I hope that there are many individuals who will enjoy this holiday virtually with people outside of their homes. These decisions really do matter.
U.S. public health experts see this Thanksgiving stretch with its gatherings and travel as a precursor to an even deadlier surge in the coming weeks before vaccines can begin to stem the spread early next year.
The idea is to get everybody to the other side. Don't do reckless things by gathering indoors and traveling, and we can save lives.
President Trump spent the morning at his golf course, his final White House Thanksgiving to be marked with a dinner with immediate family and a video conference with U.S. troops. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
This is pretty special. One of America's most beloved game show hosts is sending a hopeful message to viewers this Thanksgiving, even after his death. Listen to this.
In spite of what America and the rest of the world is experiencing right now, there are many reasons to be thankful. There are more and more people extending helpful hands to do a kindness to their neighbors, and that's a good thing. Keep the faith. We're going to get through all of this, and we will be a better society.
The people behind the Jeopardy social media channels posted that message made by Alex Trebek before his death on November 8th. He died at the age of 80 after battling pancreatic cancer. Trebek's last episode as the host of Jeopardy will air on Christmas Day. When tapings of the show resume at the end of the month, Jeopardy legend and Utah native Ken Jennings will be the first guest host.
Alex Trebek, a national treasure.
Such a guy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Even after his death, those words
He
resonate.
will be missed,
He will
for
be.
sure.
The Department of Workforce Services is predicting job numbers to be back to what they were in 2019 near the beginning of next year.
Fox 13's Aaron Cox spoke with one Indian restaurant owner who opened his doors in the middle of the pandemic and is focused on keeping his doors open.
This was for you. With each dish served. Usually comes with rice.
I love this one, is my favorite.
And every good customer review.
These are all good ones.
Selvaraj Selamatu hopes it will be enough to keep his restaurant open.
Even if the food is not 100% good, it will reach a lot of people.
The Chettinad House has been open for almost 5 months.
And when you combine with the chutney as well as the sambar.
While cooking up their new dishes for the restaurant, Selamatu says he tried applying for the state's rental program and help funding PPE, but was rejected.
I don't have any of the balance sheet for the last year.
Selamatu is one of the more than 68,000 business owners who have registered for a business license since March. From June of 2017 to July of 2018, more than 74,000 filings were made. From June of 2018 to July of 2019, just under 74,000 filings were completed. A spokesman for the Utah Department of Commerce says Utah is on pace for a record year of business registration filings. Utah looks resilient.
Right now, in the month of October, we are only at negative 0.5 job loss. And considering all that has happened, we have the second best employment gain number in the country.
Coconut chutney and sambar. Growth Selamatu hopes his business will see.
We are happy. We are giving some good food.
The Department of Workforce Services in Selamatu say they hope to see business improve once a vaccine is distributed. They expect to see the impacts of that within the next 5 or so months. In Salt Lake City, Aaron Cox, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, sadly, the beginning of the holiday season usually means an increase in the number of domestic violence cases. This year, Unified Police say it started early. Detectives say the number of domestic violence incidents began increasing in October and through the first 2 weeks of this month. That includes 2 homicides related to domestic violence. Unified Police say they don't see this type of surge until after Thanksgiving and through Christmas. Investigators feel pandemic-related quarantining is a contributing factor this year.
Our safe place should be our homes. And when your safe place is not your home, that just creates even more difficulty, especially right now when we're being told to stay home.
Beyond police resources, there are also therapists and nonprofit agencies ready, willing, and able to help. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, call the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition hotline at 1-800-897-LINK. That's 1-800-897-5465. It is a free and confidential call, and they are available 24/7.
Yeah, please reach out for help if you need it. Still ahead, hear about a new development that could be a game changer when it comes to eliminating breast cancer.
Plus, are you planning on Black Friday shopping? May not be safe for some during this pandemic. See what the experts are recommending this year.
And as that storm passed through, it didn't give us too much fresh powder, but it did leave us with cold air. This is how cold it feels as you get outside. We'll have a look at your weekend and when it starts to warm up and maybe that next storm. That's all coming up after the break.
Tens of thousands of people have lost their job at Disney due to the pandemic, and now the company says it will say goodbye to even more. About 4,000 more Disney employees are being laid off, bringing the total to 32,000 workers. The job cuts will start now and continue through the first half of Disney's fiscal year. Only resorts in Shanghai and Florida have been able to reopen so far. Disney's flagship park in California will remain closed until at least the end of the year. Delta Airlines canceled 300 Thanksgiving Day flights today. The company says Thanksgiving is the slowest travel day with the lightest loads. Delta made the changes yesterday, and most passengers were put on flights within hours of their original itinerary. Meanwhile, the TSA says more than 1 million Americans passed through airport security yesterday. That's a record number since the pandemic began. However, that's just 40% of last year's number.
In your health headlines, doctors at the University of Virginia found a technique they say can stop certain breast cancer cells from spreading. Researchers focused on triple-negative breast cancer, which kills about 40,000 Americans every year. Doctors injected microscopic balls of fat along with specially engineered antibodies that attach themselves to cancer cells. This process would stop the part of the cell that allows them to grow and spread inside the body. Doctors say this treatment would benefit 80% of triple-negative breast cancer patients. Wow, hope it works. Well, get this, wearing masks during the pandemic makes people recognize their own hearing loss. A spokesperson for the hearing clinic at the University of Texas says hearing loss is gradual, and many people use facial expressions to understand what is being said to them. Another coping mechanism is standing closer to someone while they're speaking, but that's been eliminated due to social distancing. Audiologists say people wait an average of 7 years to get their hearing checked, but the pandemic is making them seek help faster.
It's hard to have a normal Thanksgiving when your loved ones are serving overseas. See how some Utahns tried to bring a little tradition to some military families today.
Coming up in sports, we have highlights from the NFL and college basketball with the Cougars, Aggies, and Wolverines, plus college football. The Aggies going after their first win of the season against New Mexico. The highlights are on the way.
I'm glad you're with us tonight, everyone. You know, as the holiday season begins, there's a lot to think about. And you might be wondering about the risks of getting sick with COVID-19 as you make plans to celebrate. Our partners at Newsy asked the experts, what's the risk of shopping in person tomorrow on Black Friday? Their take? shopping in person is high risk.
My personal bias would be to avoid Black Friday in person. Most stores have online shopping. Do take their online deals, and I'm sure retailers will be having some nice online deals as well.
Well, for more clarification on what is low, medium, or high risk, go to fox13now.com.
If you were a first-time turkey cook this past week or today, you got past the hard part. Congratulations. But you also need to be aware of how long you can keep your leftovers. Turkey does not stay good in the fridge for very long after you cook it. Experts recommend only 3 to 4 days. But in the freezer, however, it can last 2 to 3 months. Just make sure you get it off the bone first.
Kids, we're having turkey for 3 days. We're not letting anything go to waste.
That's right, baby.
I love leftovers any time of year, but especially today.
You bet.
All right, certainly it's been a challenge. Not easy to give back this year for obvious reasons. COVID-19 restrictions have kept some large gatherings and charity events from even happening.
But a lodge in Park City vowed to continue its annual dinner for the military families of those deployed overseas. Fox 13's Spencer Joseph shows us.
The kitchen is alive at the Stein Eriksen Lodge. The menu, Thanksgiving dinner, cooking for the hotel guests. But those aren't the only people they're cooking for. The hotel has taken it on themselves to cook meals for families of service members at Hill Air Force Base who are deployed for the holidays.
I think as an organization, we have a if we can do it, we should do it attitude.
This is Dan Bullard, Vice President of Hotel Operations for the Stein Collection, and it was his idea to start a few years ago.
This is our 3rd year of doing it, and we've done this for Thanksgiving, and we will do it again for Christmas Eve.
And the staff also takes it as a labor of love to help these families out.
I think that they feel good about doing it, and afterwards I'll walk up to the kitchen and they'll ask me, how did it go? You know, they want to know what the families had to say. Or
COVID-19 was a challenge this year, but they decided no matter what, they were going to find a way.
They wanted to make sure that they could make it as safe as possible.
We have a 20-pound turkey, perfectly roasted by Chef Alex Brosroll.
As risk-free, we packaged everything. We wanted to do, again, the full meal and not do anything less than what we've done in the past.
And for Bullard, this is a personal mission because he himself spent 8 years in the Navy.
And being a part of the military myself, it hits home knowing that we can still support them in this way.
So as the meals are cooked, loaded up, and driven to Hill Air Force Base, families missing their loved ones can have another little thing to be thankful for today.
If we could do more, we're certainly going to do more. So I think it was a good experience. And again, we have a Christmas Eve coming up in another month, and we'll prepare for that again.
And they say they're going to continue to plan this for years to come, possibly expanding it in the future. At Stein Eriksen Lodge in Park City, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
So heartwarming to hear stories like this on that
It sure is.
Day of Gratitude. Absolutely. Danny Roberti is in the Fox 13 Weather Center tonight. Danny, glad to have you on the night side. You're typically in the mornings on Good Day Utah.
Typically in the mornings, and I'm excited because we're getting ready for Christmas now that we're getting past Thanksgiving. And if you're not like Kelly, who decorated like last summer,
I had to get a jump on it.
She got it, no, just 2 weeks ago. And I know a lot of us have been decorating early just because, it's 2020 and anything goes this year. It's nice to add a little bit of joy. So, but hanging up your Christmas lights this weekend is going to be perfect timing. We've got clear skies. It is going to be really cold, but you're going to be looking at some great days, especially this weekend, because we are going to be a little bit more seasonal as we jump into your Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to feel pleasant outside. That cold front is moving on out. That storm's pushed out. It's left us with clear skies. Not too much snow, but it's left us with quite a bit of cold air. It's going to be chilly getting out this evening or early tomorrow morning. Upper 20s, low 30s right now. Those temperatures are dropping as we go into our evening. 23 in Milford, 42 in St. George. And I've got to say, all of these temperatures are feeling about 10 degrees colder than this. So be prepared for that chill to kind of hit you as you get outside. And that's because of the breeze. A lot of that's that's calmed down, especially in Washington County, where we have been seeing some stronger gusts, and that will continue into tomorrow. But for right now, it's subsided just a little bit. And as we go into the next couple days, we're going to see high pressure building. And this yellow that's pushing into Utah, that yellow arch, that's that high pressure that's building. And that's going to give us seasonal temperatures as we go into our weekend. But we are going to be seeing a little system brisking by the top of Utah Sunday into Monday. It's not going to be enough to really produce anything. But then another one Monday night into Tuesday that might do a little something for our higher elevations. It's not going to be much, though. So tonight, it's going to be cold. Some fog is developing specifically in Cache Valley. So be prepared for some difficult driving conditions possibly tomorrow with your visibility maybe being tough to see. Tomorrow is going to be sunny, brisk, and hazy. So we've got some valley inversions, or a valley inversion that is forming. So we are looking at the chance for some moderate air quality Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that beautiful sunshine might be a little hazier, but by the time we get to the weekend, it's going to feel a little bit more pleasant outside. Tonight, downright cold, 24 degrees in Salt Lake City. We've got some fog developing, but it will be clear. It'll be cool. Bundle up if you're going to be getting out early tomorrow for Black Friday shopping. I know many of us will be doing that online this year, though, so it might be nice to stay bundled up doing that. Low 20s along the Wasatch Front, 7 degrees tonight in Park City, single digits in Ely, 28 in St. George, 13 in Cedar City, and going into tomorrow afternoon, lots of sunshine. That's going to be the big change. It's going to feel similar to today, so you're going to want to throw on a couple extra layers, but you're going to have plenty of sunshine, clear from start to finish for all of us across the board. 32 in Evanston, 52 in St. George, 39 in Ely. And as we go into the next 7 days, low 50s today, mid 50s tomorrow, and then 60 by Sunday. So it's going to be feeling pretty nice for those of you in southern Utah by the weekend, and then staying in the 60s to start off the new week. Lots of sunshine, but you'll be back into the mid 50s by the time you get to the middle of the week. Wasatch Front tomorrow feeling cool, but then it's feeling a little more pleasant this upcoming weekend. So really, if you've got anything outdoors to do, throwing up the Christmas lights, getting those Christmas decorations ready, it's going to be great timing for that, although we have some cold nights. Mid 40s by Monday, and a chance for another chance for snow Monday into Tuesday. And let's get a check at sports right now with Jeff Ranier.
Hey, thanks, Danny. Yeah, busy day, sports day on Thanksgiving. First college football, Utah State going after their first win of the season against New Mexico. The Lobos also went into the game 0-4. Utah State trailed 13-6 at the half, but boy, they had a huge third quarter. Andrew Beasley fires it to Justin McGriff. 36-yard touchdown tied the score at 13. Then Beasley with another great throw. This one to Savon Scarver. 26-yard touchdown, 2013 Aggies. Utah State scored 28 in the third quarter to build a 21-point lead. The Lobos cut the lead to 7 in the fourth, but the Aggies put the game away on this 62-yard touchdown run from Beasley. What a play. The Aggies won at 41-27 for their first win of the season. In the NFL, Cowboys at home against Washington. Second quarter, Andy Dalton to Amari Cooper on the money. 54 yards for a touchdown, 10-7 Cowboys. Back came the Washington team. Former Utah Ute Alex Smith fires it to Logan Thomas. 5 yards for the score, 17-10 Washington. They blew it open in the fourth quarter. 2 of his 3 touchdown runs in the fourth quarter, and Washington beat the Cowboys 41-16. The Lions hosted the Texans first quarter. J.J. Watt picks off the pass, returns at 19 yards for the touchdown, but Deshaun Watson pretty good after that, throwing 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to Will Fuller. The second one looked like it came right after a Turkey Bowl game. Throws it back, then Watson found Fuller wide open. The Texans beat the Lions 41-25. College basketball, BYU at home against New Orleans. Second half, nice move inside by Connor Harding. 2 of his 12 points, nicely done there. Then how about the nice pass from Spencer Johnson to Colby Lee? Easy bucket there, and the Cougars were rolling. They love to shoot the threes. Here's Trevin Neal for one. BYU beat New Orleans 86-61. Well, after losing to VCU yesterday, Utah State took on South Dakota State. Baylor Shireman knocks down 3 of his 23 points. The Aggies trailed by 15 at the half. Aeneas Keita there for the follow-up jam in the second half. He led the Aggies at 12, but South Dakota State stayed in front. They beat the Aggies 83-59. Utah Valley hosted Adams State. For Nas, Amquad, 24 points, 18 rebounds in the Wolverines in his debut. Here's Trey Woodbury, 3 of his 22 points. And how about Jameson Overton, 360 jam. He also scored 22 points. Utah Valley beat Adams State 175. Busy day, but good for the Aggies, finally winning a football game. We'll be right back.
Once again, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
QuickCast is next.